Oh, we're going deep. We are going deep. We're going inside Kradle. Sportskeeda Wrestling. I'm Kellam. That is Rick Ucchino. Will he have the tweezers out to drive me crazy on many big topics? Oh, and by the way, we got the WWE Champion Bobby Lashley on the show today. Who has him? Who's got him? We got him. And he says some very, very bold things about this Sunday's WWE Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, as well as SummerSlam. Plus, could we see the King of the Ring come back? We're going to get into all of it.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out!
Yes, in-depth, long-form show weekly every Thursday from Sportskeeda Wrestling. It is the Inside Kradle. Thank you guys so much for joining us on our YouTube, on our Facebook, as well on our podcast. We got to get you guys going over the podcast side of things here. Plenty to devour, hours of content every single week. If you haven't done it, we drop our Monday Night Show with Vince Russo, Legion of Raw. He had some interactions again this week with Eva Marie. We will get into the Eva Marie return. We have the debrief with Jose Enrico covering AEW and NXT. Big week for both those brands. Huge week for both.
Oh, massive, yes.
We will talk about all that. And Friday nights we have Dutch Mantel covering SmackDown with Smack Talk. You and Rick. Rick, you got to work. We got to get your mustache up to Dutch Mantel levels here.
I mean, dude. I could grow. I could not shave or trim this thing for 10 years, and I would not get up to Dutch Mantel levels. It's not happening.
So we're going in deep, and of course we have the WWE Champion Bobby Lashley on the show. If you're joining us just for that interview and you skip ahead, I'm not blaming you for it. I'm not blaming you for it because you had about 17 minutes with the top wrestler in the world right now. And can you just give us a little teaser of what's coming up there?
We're going to give you a little bit of it. We're not going to give you the whole pie, but we're going to give you a little taste. Okay. It's kind of a big taste. But you know, we're going to give you a good meaty part of it. And if you want the rest of it, guess what you're going to have to do? You're going to have to go over to the rest of the Sportskeeda Wrestling YouTube channel or go to our Facebook page, and you're going to have to find it, and you're going to have to watch it there because that's how it works.
Yeah, and you guys on the podcast side, you'll get that as well. You get that audio as well. So definitely keep an eye out for it. It will drop quite soon. If you want the whole interview, we'll have it quite soon after this. But just another way to reel you in, get them coming in deeper. Because that's what this show is. Inside Kradle is like the deep, long conversational show that we do every week.
I think you've said the word deep at least 20 times already on this show.
I know. It's emphasis, repetitiveness, right? That works. It stays in their mind here.
Bury it deep in their mind.
Yes, deep in the crevice of your skull. There we go. We've deeped out. Let's get into the big story of the week. Samoa Joe is back in the good graces of WWE. Samoa Joe returning this week. This was anticipated for a while now. We had rumblings of this beginning last week. He was released from the company abruptly about a week and a half after WrestleMania.
Unjustly released from the company. Unfathomably released from the company.
He has not wrestled since February of last year. He suffered a concussion while shooting a commercial from a night at Raw. Very, very sad. He's had a lot of different injuries since being called up to the main roster a few years ago from NXT, including arm injuries, different things that prevented him from being at WrestleMania. Yet he still had some very high-profile matches. 42 years old. All right, a lot of injuries, 42 years old. That does worry WWE now as they're getting a little bit more protective of who they put out there at what age and how they're presented with more younger talent that they're investing more time in. So, Samoa Joe, though, was prominent. He was a color commentator on Monday Night Raw. You saw him every single week, except some people speculate he was being paid a talent contract, like as if he was an in-ring performer when he was a broadcaster. So it's a different designation. He's released. Triple H didn't want him out of the fold too long and brings him in to WWE NXT, not as a commentator, almost as a wrestler. Maybe he will be a wrestler, but William Regal reintroduces him with all the madness of William Regal breaking up a fight every single week, yelling war games when there isn't war games.
Chaos is the word they love to throw around on it.
And William Regal, the years of breaking up these fights at NXT have worn on him. And Karrion Kross mocks him and says he runs NXT and it's his show. And tell me I was right. And tick-tock talk. And then blah, 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 blah.
Can I just say that moment, right? And I'm not going to drop these very often on this show, but I'm going to give you a naughty word alert here. That moment when Karrion Kross turned his head from William Regal to look down the ramp at Samoa Joe coming, that look that he gave on his face was the perfect, oh, I just fucked up look. It was just immediately like, oh.
It was at this point. It was at this point that Karrion Kross knew he had fucked up.
Yes. Exactly. And it was perfect. The man, that's all he had to do. For the first time on NXT programming, we saw Karrion Kross intimidated. And it was in that look alone and that stare down that they gave us between Samoa Joe and Karrion Kross that told me immediately there are plans down the line for Joe to get back in the ring. I talked to Samoa Joe earlier this year, and I flat out asked him, I was like, dude, how are you doing? Where are you at health-wise? Can we expect you back in the ring very time soon? And he said, look, WWE, much to my appreciation, is taking my health at a premium. They are slow playing this. They want to make sure I'm okay. I plan to come back. I plan on having many, many more years in the ring, but time will tell on this thing, which is why inexplicably he was released. It made no sense to me at that time, and why they didn't use him more when they had him, because this role right here, this enforcer role, is perfect for him. Absolutely perfect for him. I mean, all you had to do was look at that part where they broke up the fight in the back, right? And Adam Cole just kind of shoves him. And then Samoa Joe's like, oh, I've done been provoked. And he takes off the coat and he throws it down and he chokes him out. And he's like, now, when he wakes up, Mr. Regal wants to see him, basically. Like, he wants his answer for this challenge.
He said, stop. Remember when he's yelling, he's like, stop me, stop. And then he shoves him down. And Cole saw it like he got turned out light. Like his leg got turned out.
Yeah, he was like night, go to sleep. Like, he applied too much pressure. Like, it had been too long since he had locked in that hold, and he just
Coquina clutch, baby.
Put him
Samoan submission machine. I've always been a Samoa Joe guy. I was spoiled in the early 2000s being on the Ring of Honor loop that would come through Chicago 4 or 5 times a year, getting to interview him early on, seeing him in CM Punk, seeing him in Bryan Danielson, and obviously seeing his breakout period in NXT, and of course all the amazing things he did in TNA. He's one of those more quietly beloved wrestlers of the last 10, 15 years. And you can put him on the short list of people that really made a lot of people. Like he helped make Daniel Bryan as a Ring of Honor world champion. He helped make AJ Styles into a household name and all these different things. And some people would say, like, oh yeah, and WWE's never gotten his own. He had the match with Brock and had a very competitive match with Brock, and they made him look competitive with Brock, but it wasn't the right time, and he wasn't the right guy to take the belt off Brock. That's no shot at him, But some people, you need to remember, guys, being in the main event is still a consideration of the value they have in you. Like, everyone, they put him in the main event and they buried him. No, you don't get buried by being in the position he was in. But I wonder what was the circumstances to let him go. Very crafty move by Triple H to say, we're not having you go to AEW. Yeah. You're going to stay with me as long as you are healthy and ready to go. I want you in this company in some way or another.
Yeah, because Triple H sees the value in a guy like Samoa Joe, which, again, that's why of all the releases, this one was the one that was most puzzling. I don't know how much money he was making. I don't know if Vince was just like, look, all right, bottom line, he's a commentator right now. We're paying this much money. I don't want to do that. Send him off. The guy does everything well. There's literally nothing that this guy sucks at when it comes to WWE. You can use him as a commentator. You can use him as an enforcer. As long as he's healthy, you can use him as an in-ring performer. He could be a mouthpiece for somebody. He could be a producer. The guy is brilliant. He's fucking great at everything, man. Do you think
this is like he's ready? Do you think he's cleared to wrestle now? And this is just a long tease to get him in the ring again.
I don't know if he is. He might be close. I don't think he's cleared at this moment, because if he was, I don't think
they would do it right away.
They would do it right away. That's just my speculation. I don't know for sure, but I think if he was cleared and ready to go, if he was cleared and ready to go, he might have looked at AEW. That might be part of the reason why he decided to come back and be an NXT. I'm not sure.
He's not cleared yet.
Yeah, he's not cleared yet. Who knows how long this contract with NXT is going to run? But I do think that there's no way that, and we saw several teases this week. We saw him square up with Pete Dunne. We saw him choke out Adam Cole. Obviously, that big face-off with Karrion Kross, because that's the thing, man. After Karrion Kross decimated the top 5 guys on the brand, top 6 if you count Finn Balor, who the hell on this roster right now is beating Karrion Kross? Who's a legit threat to Karrion Kross? And I didn't see one until Samoa Joe showed up. And I'm like, there's your end game. Whenever Vince is ready to call up Karrion Kross, Samoa Joe is a guy who could convincingly and realistically beat Karrion Kross.
This prompts the question. Several big names were released by WWE. If Samoa Joe can come back to WWE through, the door that Triple H runs, which is NXT, who else are they bringing back? We've heard speculation that Aleister Black could have been one of those names. That you and I have both been aware that there's been some inner workings of WWE people, maybe not the top brass, but people in the room wanting him back in the company. And then we've also heard that he is in play for AEW.
I think Aleister Black is a slam dunk for AEW. I think he's a guy who wants to, have that kind of like Andrade. Like when Andrade went to AEW, he talked a lot about having creative freedom and wanting to do, his own thing. I think Aleister Black wants to be Tommy End again. Not to say that he couldn't be talked back to going into NXT, but I don't think there's any chance. I don't think there's any chance any of these stars who are released are coming back to Raw or SmackDown anytime soon, because we've already seen reports that even more cuts might be on the horizon here before they go out on the road. Hopefully that is not the case, because they have already cut SmackDown specifically. They have cut the roster very, very thin, especially in the women's division, which is the only thing that kind of gives me hope that some of these superstars like Chelsea Green or like the Iconics might be coming back at some point down the line, is because, and we've seen this in radio, right? When they make cuts deep. And then
they see how far they can go with running a skeleton crew. Then they see like, oh wait, we're having an issue here. We need to fill a certain gap. And why don't we just push it as long as we can, so that we can have this margin of savings that we made. So then when we go to have another budget, we can justify saying we're going to spend this money, but look at the money we saved there. But see, here's the problem we're going to have long-term. So we got to fill those gaps again. And it's this constant game you play with. Specifically, you have to think about this too. WWE has people they answer to. They are a publicly traded company with some investment firms that are very significant firms that they have meetings with that are not publicly known, that they have to kind of like say those things to them. And in that regard, we can talk about the insider trading, WWE being sued stuff. There isn't too much of that story. That story's been around for a long, long time. I think anyone who's like, WWE is being sued, they're in the I want to be at the riot when the building is destroyed and kind of Vince. We don't have to get into that. But WWE's making these moves. They saw what they could do during the pandemic, and that's why those kind of cuts made. But I could see them saying some changes as they get back out there on the road. This tour's been announced. Some of these shows are selling well. Some of them are not moving particularly well. AEW announced some big shows. They're going to run Arthur Ashe Stadium, a 24,000 seat stadium in Queens, New York. Major, major move by WWE. So the live ticket game is now another platform in which they are going to compete for wrestling fans.
And by the way, it's not just AEW that WWE's got to contend with. How many damn concerts have been announced in cities across the country? I mean, there are live events all over the place,
and they're being launched. And so you're not just competing for, we want to make sure we sell more tickets in that area before AEW or WWE, vice versa. No, I mean, if you're going to New York City, AEW and WWE are not competing just with each other. They're competing with the live entertainment dollar of an audience that has wanted to spend some money in the last year and a half, that is going to have a ton of options to do it at the exact same time.
Working in Cincinnati in a newsroom for 700 WLW, I can't tell you over the last 2 weeks, and mind you, I took a lot of time off in the last 2 weeks.
Sure.
I can't tell you how many press releases I have gotten from stand-up comedians, from bands, from
you'll plug my stuff. I send you a PR release. You'll let them know when I'm playing the Cincinnati Yuck Yucks. You'll let them know.
Are you going to come to
get me booked in the Natty, dude? Come on, find the booker, man. Get me working the territory.
Go Bananas, or gosh, what's the other one? Oh man, there's
Go Bananas. Yeah,
I'm trying to think of the other name.
You got a Crackers out there. You probably don't.
No, I can't remember what the heck it's called. I saw Chris Titus there. I can't remember what it's. But we do have a brand new 8,000 seat facility called the Icon that just opened up. Foo Fighters are going to play there, so That's going to be really, really nice.
But 8,000 seater too. That's nice.
Yeah,
that is Monday Night Raw. That is Raw territory. That is an AEW
that's
style
at least
venue.
NXT. That's at least an NXT traveling show for sure.
At this point, it could be Raw. At this point, it could be Raw, depending on you want to do a house show there. Yeah, that's what it's looking like.
Right.
So,
there's a lot of competition out there for WWE, which is why they can. People are wondering every time I see WWE run that promo for, hey, we're going back out on the road. Why do you think they're running that?
Because they want you to buy tickets.
Yeah, I think they're having a problem selling tickets right now.
So here's the point where the tickets stand. Just glazing over the different dates. Surprisingly, when WWE announced this 25 city tour, it was 25 cities. So it was like, that's more than just SmackDown and Raw.
Right.
And pay-per-views. And 9 of those shows, nearly half, were live events, house shows, simply dubbed super shows. And these will run in some markets like Detroit and Kansas City. And last time I checked on the Detroit one, it was not moving particularly well. But they're going to return that weekend in Texas. Those loop of dates are doing very, very well. They are nearly sold out for Money in the Bank. If not sold out, they're going to be. And then you also have to factor in the papered element of how many tickets are given to sponsors and local marketing contests with radio stations and different stuff like that. That's doing well. Money at Raw in Chicago, I can tell you, is doing very, very well. That show will sell out. They will have a very good crowd at the All-State Arena, one of the hottest markets for wrestling in the world. And they'll get to sell it out before AEW gets there for all out. It's worth noting there. So people talk about that stuff. I can tell you, people talk about that stuff in live marketing too. You know about that. When I've talked to people who move tickets and also the secondary market, they look at that as well. So plenty to look at here as they get back into competition. But I also think it's just a matter of where a certain area is too. Not everyone's opening up at the same time in the brisking pace,
That's true. California just opened up this week.
Just opened up, and they haven't announced any dates out there just yet, have they? I don't think they've announced anything out there.
No, I know like the San Diego Padres are doing like their big like reopening night, like they're tonight actually. So against my Reds, who are red hot right now, by the way. So they're doing their big reopening night and opening up full capacity to the ballpark. But yeah, I don't think they've had any like major tour dates or anything announced there just yet.
And this all builds to SummerSlam. They're going to run August 21st, Saturday night, ahead next, right down the street from the MGM Grand with a Manny Pacquiao fight. Very big platform for WWE Beyond. Seems like NBC Universal is on board. This is going to be a big Peacock special. A lot of surprises are planned for this show. We will get to Bobby Lashley here in about 10 minutes. So if you're skipping ahead, we completely get it. But we need to talk about these big SummerSlam surprises. Stephanie McMahon was on the record. She spoke to Yahoo Finance this week.
Yep.
And said that she will not be wrestling at SummerSlam. Someone just wants to ask her. But she says there's going to be some big things.
Ronda Rousey. I thought that was
PTSD from Ronda Rousey. Post-traumatic stress syndrome. I would have that too if I had to get in there with Ronda Rousey.
You ain't wrong.
So we have something significant here. We have an executive top level of company saying that there's going to be a lot of surprises. I have looked at them. I think one of those surprises is sort of obvious. It is tied to the box office of 2 major films coming out this summer. It is a man that you can see, though he says you can't see him. Do you know who I'm talking about yet? All right. He is one of the most decorated WWE performers of all time, the Hulk Hogan of millennials, John Cena. And John Cena is going to be in the upcoming Fast and the Furious film as a villain. He will also be in the upcoming The Suicide Squad movie as a villain. So John Cena is coming back to WWE.
More like an anti-hero. I mean,
an anti-hero. A little
the good guys are the villain, or the villains are the good guys in that movie. So it's weird.
Yeah, but John Cena shooting people with a gun is what you're going to see on.
He kills a lot of people.
Yes,
based off that trailer. I think that's actually the basis for his entire character. Is he loves America so much that he will murder Americans for America. I believe that's what his character is based off the Red Band trailer.
And he's going to have a show on HBO Max before the end of the year too. So, I mean, there's a lot going on here. This all lines up with the same trajectory that The Rock did about 10 years ago. The Rock, for some period of time, had gotten a lot of distance from his wrestling career. He was Dwayne Johnson more than The Rock, and wanted to reboot his brand, relaunch himself on social media, relaunch all these new efforts, really get his production company rolling, get into the Fast and the Furious franchise as a big part of that when that franchise started to really blow up, 5-6 movies in somehow, right? And then he's in that, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm going to be back in WWE. I'm going to be on this loop of WrestleMania stuff for the next 3 years. And that proved to be very, very successful and was absolutely nitro fuel for his showbiz career. I know people in Hollywood were very trepidatious about it. He got injured. It caused insurance issues. The level of marketing and reinvigoration in the Rock business that you got from him doing WWE is profound. Very, very profound. Is that what John Cena is trying to do here? Are we going to see him come back to WWE on the same level with the same impact, if you will?
I mean, it's all going to depend on his schedule. I mean, he's going to come in as often as he can. I mean, this has always been, his first love. Now, he has fallen in love with the movie business, and he told Chris Van Vliet that this week. Chris Van Vliet on his show Insight did a great sit down with John Cena.
Tip of the cap.
Yep.
Tip of the cap.
Asked a lot of really, really good questions, got a lot of really good insight. And John Cena confirmed, yes, I'm going to come back to WWE. It's not a matter of if, but when. And there is, conveniently enough, a little hole open up there in his filming schedule right around, August 21st, something like that. So that might allow him to step up to somebody like, Roman Reigns, basically. And he even dropped Roman Reigns by name in that interview. And it was really interesting, too, because he talked about the fact that he does play a bad guy in Fast 9. And it's the closest that he's been able to showcase what heel John Cena would look like. And WWE, he said WWE was always really hesitant about making him a heel because he was that top superstar. And you look at Roman Reigns right now, who is a bad guy and is arguably the most marketable and most over guy in the company, shows them that, okay, yeah, a bad guy can be our top moneymaker. So what do they do with John Cena when he comes back? Is there a possibility that we might finally see that heel John Cena at some point? There's been rumors that they want to turn Roman Reigns babyface. That big heel to challenge. I honestly, I wouldn't be mad at that. If the character stayed the same, but he was just a good guy now, like you can make subtle tweaks and keep the same character and just make him a good guy. You can do that, but you need that big bad guy. And I think John Cena coming back as a bad guy would put him over and make him, I can't believe I'm saying this, but make him an even bigger star, make him more relevant than he would be today if he was just coming back and taking on the big baddies and beating them like he always does.
I'm of the thought John Cena can come back and be the superhero. We haven't seen him in the ring in a long, long time. I'm not wanting just someone to play the hits, but in this regard, I would want him to play the hit. And people are going to see the movies, and it's okay, and they can separate the two. Just give him some edge. Give him a little bit of an edge, and like have him come back and be a little bit meaner, and maybe, I'm not saying thugonomics, but something that says like, hey, you're getting me in my 40s, but I'm not this like pat the little kids on the head superhero guy. I'm gonna kick your ass. I heard what you've been doing. You're disrespectful to our business. You've lost yourself, man. And I'm gonna bring you back to reality and remind you who I am.
The one thing that I think could really work, because there's nothing new in wrestling anymore. All the storylines are rehashed. They're just kind of tweaked in some certain way.
And I do think he's a guy that would want to do something fresher. Yeah.
Yes. Dude, I would take the Hulk Hogan approach with this, to be completely honest with you.
What do you mean? Give
John Cena a heel faction. Turn John Cena heel. Give him some younger.
And then you got Samoa Joe. I'm sorry. You have Roman Reigns. I'm looking at my notes here. You have Roman Reigns as suddenly babyface. I don't buy that switch. They put so much. They put so much television real estate into Roman Reigns as this evil one man walking legion of doom.
They have, but don't forget, it's always been Vince's wet dream to get Roman Reigns as the most over top babyface star in the company. So I could see them absolutely making that switch at some point. I'm not saying you got to do it right this second, but Roman Reigns has never.
You went there, Rick. You said what's going on in a billionaire's brain without being in there. That's what you did.
Roman Reigns has never been more over than he is right now, and that's how you get over with the crowd. You be an awesome, badass heel to the point where they freaking love you, and then when the time is right, you flip them.
So at what point does WWE say John Cena's coming back? Because they haven't said it. They haven't even alluded to it.
No.
Lesnar, they've said his name. They've brought up his name. They've brought it up, right? They haven't said he's coming back. Oh, we'll talk about Lesnar, by the way. And we will have someone holding a certain WWE Championship talking about him within this show.
Maybe we'll have that drop in here, or maybe you'll have to go to the Sportskeeda Wrestling YouTube channel to hear.
Thank you for the clarification on the clip here. I got to see the whole interview before everyone else, so I understand that. So yeah, but we'll get into it. It's certainly interesting. I think John Cena is going to be a big part of WWE's return to live fans. I think they're going to try and sell a lot of tickets with the shows that he's on, and I do think he's going to wrestle at SummerSlam. If they do John Cena versus Roman Reigns, heel versus babyface, it's fine. They want to flip the script later on, I'm okay with that. Maybe save that for WrestleMania.
I think you have to judge this. You can't just say, okay, the live audiences are back, we're going to flip Roman Reigns babyface. No, you have to judge it off of the feel of the live audience, because the internet ain't your live audience. All right, The internet already scored a big win this week because Lily's apparently gone now. Like the bitching on the internet has worked in some way, shape, or form, but I don't think you can go solely off of that vocal minority that is WWE internet. But I still love the idea of John Cena coming back and working in a faction where he can groom some of the younger guys and put them over. And he doesn't want to be that guy who comes in and wins the WWE Championship again. He's already said that. He has had his moment in the sun. I think he wants to come back and help build up the next generation. What better way than to give him his own legacy or his own evolution or own NWO or whatever, what have you. Let him do something different and help build up some younger guys along the way.
Everyone has to wear brightly colored t-shirts. You're going to run with me. Better have a good pair of jorts. All right. You better have a good pair of jorts. You better dress like a 6-year-old child to be a grown man. That's what you better do. All right. Get yourself some dog tags. All right.
Hustle, loyalty, respect, flow, whatever it is. I forget all of it.
Yeah. The chain gang. We're going to go back to 03 with the chain gang. Let's get into one more thing here. Bobby Lashley in just a few minutes. News coming out that WWE is working. They're working on definitely invigorating the brand. Now we talk about exciting things like SummerSlam. We're already looking at. We have a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view this Sunday.
Yeah, we do.
We have a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view this Sunday. I don't want to say that the entire wrestling fan base is looking past it, but there is this sense of let's get live fans back in there. Let's get live fans back in and let's do something else. The word is that WWE is starting to hear, as you mentioned with Lily, we need to do some different things. We see on the horizon the competition, what it's going to be like to go head-to-head with AEW, the comparisons. WrestleVotes tweeting out, hearing WWE is potentially looking at more themed live shows upon returning to the road. Old School Raw, King of the Ring tournament, yes, a viewer's choice style show a la Cyber Sunday.
Now we're talking.
And possible for late 2021, early 2022. I do like the timing of these where they would want to push these all into like that next kind of phase of touring to make maybe you're hitting a mark at another time that you hit in this first loop. You want to get people the idea of, well, I bought tickets last time. What do you got this time? That's interesting. So what do you think of this news? I think this is great news. I think WWE needs something special, and they need that special thing on SmackDown and on Raw. Raw needs stuff like this.
Raw especially, but the old school stuff, get it out of here. Don't need it anymore because it's the same.
People love it though. It works
too, but it's the same stuff every time. They just bring in these legends that are like, "Hi, look at us. See, we're here. Remember us?" And it's great. And we always like seeing them, but they rarely ever do they do anything of any substance. And more often than not,
that on house shows, man.
You do that. Sure. They brought Ric Flair to Starrcade in Cincinnati, and it was great. He was drunk on stage. It was hilarious. But I can't confirm that. I can't confirm that. But I think Ric Flair was drunk that night. Anyway, so woo! That's a suspicion of mine. I think his promo went about 30 minutes too long. Anyway, so I could take it or leave the old school stuff because it's always the same rehash stuff, with the legends, same legends they trot out every time. But I love the idea of bringing back King of the Ring. I think this has been a very underutilized event whenever they have decided to use it because it's been sparingly. It hasn't been an every year kind of a thing. I love the idea of bringing it back for a few reasons. One, so we can stop calling Baron Corbin King Corbin because he has been King Corbin way too long, and I think actually losing that title will help him out immensely. But more importantly, if they utilize this correctly, this is an event that can be used to springboard somebody up to the main event. And when you look at Monday Night Raw right now, the reason why we have had Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre fighting over the WWE Championship since before WrestleMania and is still going on right now is because who's next? Who's after Drew McIntyre? Do we have a guy who's ready to step up? Maybe it's Kofi Kingston. They're kind of teasing that, but man, they don't have that next guy who's ready. They're not building anybody. It should be Damian Priest, but they aren't building him up right now. For whatever reason, he can't get on the damn show. We can get Jackson Riker and Elias doing the exact same match with the exact same finish 2 weeks in a row, but we can't get Damian Priest on our television. That's a bold choice, WWE. A terrible one, but a bold choice that is going your direction right now. I kind of lost. I'm rambling there, but you could use that correctly to springboard somebody as long as it means something. And that's why I think you bring back King of the Ring and you make it where the winner gets not only a crown and a scepter and a robe and is trotted out, you get a title shot.
Yeah.
It's a little too soon to do it at Survivor Series. I always like the idea of using King of the Ring the way the Royal Rumble is used, to where the Royal Rumble, you get a title shot at WrestleMania. I like the idea of doing King of the Ring and you get a title shot at SummerSlam. Might be too soon to coordinate all that. You get a title shot at Survivor Series. If we're doing this, you could start this late in the fall. And I want the full 9, man. I want qualifying matches. I want to go 16 superstars deep. You got the talent to do it.
One night tournament?
I don't think one night. I like the idea of doing the semifinals in one night.
Okay.
So kind of like, or maybe, you know what? Even if you wanted to do the finals and then the winner challenges the WWE champion that night, maybe if you wanted to do something like that, but I still like the idea of getting the title shot at a big 4 pay-per-view. And they've already
the final is a title shot. The final is
you could do it that way.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see how this plays out. I've always been a fan of the King of the Ring, but we've always heard the rumblings that WWE doesn't love doing tournaments, but they'll do them. They'll do them and they'll do them right. As much as people say like, oh,
fans love tournaments.
What?
Fans love tournaments.
Fans love tournaments.
And also, like, who gives a damn what WWE likes? That's the problem.
Yeah,
it's what you're
internally. There's been I've heard this story from Court Bauer. He's with MLW. He's with WWE and creative for a long time. He runs MLW now, and he pitched the idea of a month-long King of the Ring tournament, a la New Japan Pro Wrestling's G1 Climax, with like a point system, and it would spread out in the summer and be something they could do in the June or July months. This year, they don't have to do that. Fans are going to be excited to go back to shows. The focus will just be getting people back at shows. Isn't that fun? This isn't like 07, 06, like mid-2000s, right? And so they thought it was too convoluted and too weird. They don't want to do things that are confusing, that you have to think too much about, you know? I'm oddly of the thought where I think if they don't do this on Raw or they don't do this on SmackDown, NXT would be a spot to do something like this and make it interesting, and do something fun with it. And it's more of a hardcore, more sports oriented. Give me the steak, a meat and potato style brand. I think they could do something there. I'm a sucker for it. Everyone says they don't do tournaments well. It's BS. Mae Young Classic is a really, really fun thing to watch. The Cruiserweight Classic is like one of the best things they've ever done on the network. They can do some special things with this. I also enjoy Raw Roulette. I always thought that was kind of cool, even though it was always gimmicked. It was like you're getting fun surprise stuff.
Cyber Sunday is an event that would crush it now.
Yes,
that was an event that was ahead of its time.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was the early days of the internet. We were still in MySpace time. Like, there's so many more apps. WWE itself is so much more of a stronger social media brand where that is ingrained in every little nuance of what we're doing a show 6 days a week now, it feels, because of the platforms that have come up since that time. There's so many more things you can do with the internet that just weren't, we didn't even have the language to comprehend.
We still had flip phones. We still had flip phones, and you had to like punch your key like 14 times to get an A. Oh crap, I went past it. Now I got to hit. I got to do the cycle.
No, I voted for Matt Hardy and I wanted to vote for Christian. Yeah, and there's plenty of fun things they could do with this. And
WWE, you may have alluded to this already. Their social media platforms have never been bigger. They get a lot of hits. They put a lot of value in what they get on social media. That's always their scapegoat when the ratings are low. Is, hey, look how many hits we're getting on YouTube, and there's validity.
Not wrong. Every time people say, "Oh, look at the ratings of Raw," I was like, "Well, how many people watched it on YouTube?" And when you bring that up, people are like, "Wait, what?" I was like, also, you just bring up domestic numbers. This is an international company. I think doing something on a pay-per-view that would really want to make people watch Peacock maybe internationally is something like this. You know, also, this casual fans would eat this up. Casual fans eat this gimmick up. They love it.
Audience involvement. Get the audience, make them a part of the show. They get suckered right in, man. It works in radio. It works anywhere. If you can get the audience involved, maybe you can work a prize giveaway into this some way, somehow, where, a random voter wins tickets to Cyber Sunday, whatever city it's in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's ways you can do this. You can get people to vote off the hook. And I think it would be a good way to do that. And just speaking selfishly, the last pay-per-view that ever came to my hometown in the city of Cincinnati from WWE was Cyber Sunday 2006. Booker T, King Booker, defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Big Show and John Cena. That's how far back it has been since Cincinnati got a damn pay-per-view. I had just graduated high school, for crying out loud. So maybe you bring back Cyber Sunday and Cincinnati's got a chance, man. Maybe we got a chance of getting something again.
Are we getting to Taboo Tuesday?
Maybe. I'll take Taboo Tuesday. Well, I don't know, because you got NXT on Tuesday, so it'd have to be an NXT special.
Taboo Tuesday?
I mean, they're bringing back Great American Bash. They love doing those special ratings grabbers for NXT.
Taboo Tuesday? The way I'm saying it seemed like Adam Sandler-esque.
That's definitely what I heard, yes.
We're going to talk Hell in a Cell. That is a pay-per-view that is this Sunday. I know we're looking a little bit past it. We got all these different things, live events coming back.
We also got to get to Eva Marie too.
We got to talk Eva Marie before that. But you know who we do have to talk to? The man of the hour, the Almighty, the top wrestler in the world, holding, sorry fans, the top championship in all of professional wrestling, the WWE Championship. He is the almighty Bobby Lashley. You have to spoke with him this week. We will drop the full interview on our podcast feed, on our YouTube, and on our Facebook, but you guys are going to get a taste of it right now. Rick, alarming was the word I used to describe some of the things he said in this interview.
I don't think alarming was the right word, but as long as it gets clicks, it's fine. He said some bold things for sure, but this was a really fun interview. The guy, he was a blast to talk to. I did ask him about a couple of things that aren't in this clip, including his new escorts that he has been seen with on Monday Night Raw, including why he doesn't think that his match with Brock Lesnar has happened. Again, you'll be able to find those answers on the Sportskeeda Wrestling YouTube channel that will probably be out by the time that this episode airs. But still a lot of really, really good stuff in here. And I started off talking about his matchup with Drew McIntyre at Hell in a Cell because, when you talk about a Hell in a Cell match, there's a lot to live up to there. Hell in a Cell, you talk about Triple H and Cactus Jack, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels. More recently, Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks, Roman Reigns, and Jey Uso put on a banger last year. There has been classic matches. Does that weigh on your mind at all as you head into Sunday, trying to make this one stand out?
No, I mean you always have to make your match because all those matches have different story. All those matches have different reasons. All those different matches have different energy going into it. So you just make your match the best that you can have. And I think with Drew and I, just going from our WrestleMania match, it's going to be rough. It's going to be seriously, and just putting us in this Hell in the Cell. I can only imagine how my body's going to feel Monday, because I know that I'm going to do whatever it takes to keep that title. And I know he's willing to do whatever it takes to take it away from me. So it's going to be crazy. And I think as far as like where it gets ranked, I think it's going to be up there with one of the best. I had that confidence in this one.
Oh, I love the confidence heading in this one. And you know what? I think there's a reason to be confident because you and Drew, you guys never seem to disappoint when you guys are in the ring together. It doesn't matter how many times. What is it about him? What is it about the two of you working together that it just works so well?
I don't know, man. There was one time when we were running some tags a couple years ago. It was Drew, and Corbin.
Right.
And I love that group, man, because we had good energy. I love tagging with those guys. I love tagging with Drew. And then me and Drew always had something. It was always like whenever we were tagging together, even when I hit his hand, it was like that intensity. He brings out a special intensity in me because I look in his eyes and I'm like, man, he really wants to fight. he wants to fight, and that gets me fired up. And then sometimes when it gets me fired up, I look at some people and I can feel them back down, and I never see him back down. When I get more fired up, when I look like I want to kill, when I feel it, I see him come up with me, and that's why whether we're tagging with each other or going against us, it's the same energy, and it's fun. I like it. I'm a fighter, man. I've been doing it all my life, so it's something that I enjoy.
You guys obviously have a long history with one another, matches, all over promotions, everywhere you guys have been. Is there one in particular that stands out for you as a favorite when you stepped into the ring with Drew McIntyre?
The Hell in the Cell.
So you're already pegging this Sunday as going to be the one, man.
Man, there's been so many, and I don't want to say one over the other, because the good thing about it and the fun thing about it is the matches that we've had. I don't want to say impromptu matches, but it was like we didn't get to do live events and fight each other, and really it was just energy. It's just been energy, and every time we've gone at it, I felt good. I felt like after the match was over, I still wanted to continue fighting someone. It was that kind of energy. It was that real fight feel that, you can put on the card every single time, and you're going to draw on people because they want to see that. They want to see that me standing in front of Drew, locked up, ready to go. They want to see me and the Brocks, me and the big names, me and the Roman, all these different guys. That's something that people want to see on these cards, and we're going to give it to them this weekend.
You guys have been battling over the WWE Championship since you won that bad boy, and as I'm sure you may or may not be aware of, fans are a bit fickle these days. Do you find it a bit harder now to keep the audience, intrigued and invested when a feud, runs as long as your arc with Drew has gone now?
I think we do have a little bit of a shorter attention span nowadays because people want to see, oh, he's mad at him. They need to fight over it. And I think that's how things go. The hard thing is you gotta accept realism also, and that's a hard thing to do because people just want to be. They want quick fixes all the time. When you look at the hierarchy of the business and on Raw, yes, there are other guys that are capable of going for that title, but you got to get past Drew. You can't get past Drew to step up there. So we're stuck in a place where it's like, yes, Bobby's the champ, the best, and Drew is right there. So if Drew is not going against Bobby, then who is? Someone else. How did they get past Drew? They got to get past Drew. So I think that's a big kicker because a lot of guys have tried to. AJ was there, Kofi was there, Braun was there at the time. All those guys try to get past Drew to get to me, but they can't. So you can't take that away from him. And he has a lot of people going for him and a lot of people that want him to take it away from me. However, it's not that damn easy. So we're stuck in a place. So I think either somebody has to step up and find a way to take out Drew or manipulate, or maybe I can just put Drew away at Hell in the Cell and let somebody else come through. I don't know.
I was going to say he's done. He's done if he loses. So, somebody else is going to have to step up after him.
I don't want him to just go in a sense like that. If I'm going to put him away, I want to put him away. I don't want him to put him away because of a stipulation. I put him away. I sent him packing. I hurt him to the point where he's saying, there's never, ever a chance that I'm going to beat that man. And he walks away and he gives up. I want to be that person. I don't want it to be just a stipulation.
All right. Really, really looking forward to that match this Sunday. I do have to ask you a question that I believe is on a lot of people's minds. How have you been able to battle back Father Time the way that you have, man? You get younger and in better shape every single year. You win the WWE title at 44. You're arguably the dominant star. Dude, age is just a number, I know, man, but you're the most dominant star in the whole damn company, man. What's the secret, good sir?
Man, you know what? I think my priority is in a good place. And I think there's a lot of different things. I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were talking about the business and how the business was. And I was like, you know what? If somebody told me something that would really benefit myself in the business, I would definitely do it. And what are those things? some of those things are, well, I should get in good shape. You know, I'm on TV in front of a lot of people. And for me, I really take care of myself. I'm not really a drinker. I don't put anything I do things in very, very, very small moderations. And for me, it's just being on a routine. I take care of myself. Before it was that sense of you do 90% of the work and 10% rest. Now mine is kind of like balanced out a little bit where I work hard, but I do it like, I go hard almost every day, but I do it less time, and I do a lot of rehab. I really take care of myself. I eat good, and I take my time to do the massages and you know, dry needling when you get the boo-boos. And other than that, I mean, if you don't damage yourself, you're not going to break down. People don't understand that as they're chugging beer saying, how do you stay together, man? I'm like, I don't do that. And I'm not saying I'm one of those guys that, oh, don't drink, don't do this, don't do that. But you got to do more positive than negative. I don't mind going out and having some drinks with my buddies. We did after Raw, me and MVP, and you know, we sat down and had some drinks. And the next day I went and got a good workout in. Got it out of my system. You have the fun, but you have the work too. If you want to get to a certain place, everybody that's been on top has told you the same thing. It's the work, man. Just put in the work and you feel good. And I think I just have really good genes also.
Yeah, I would say that.
Thank my parents a little bit also. But
you look the same as you did in 2008, my man. I'm not, I mean, it's insane.
And I feel good. And I told the people that I go with, I'm like, look, man, it's not gonna hurt me at all. If you tell me, hey, Bob, you kind of slowing down a little bit, or that punch ain't coming as crisp, you know what? You might want to back off a little bit. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna say, I'm good. I think I've taken care of myself, and I put myself in positions as far as like a real estate portfolio and different things like that, where I put money away. I live really under my means so that I'm very comfortable on the outside. So when it's time to shut it down, it's time to shut it down, but it's not time. I have a lot of time left. I mean, I feel good. So I just keep pushing it. I mean, I'm going to post a video of my workout earlier. And I mean, we pushed it. We were doing sprints and all kinds of stuff, and my body feels great. So I'm good to go.
Like I tell people all the time, age is just a number. They always want to focus on that. It's all about how you feel, which is why I'm 33 going on 50. Like I said, it has been quite a year plus for you ever since you aligned yourself with MVP. Could you imagine that when the two of you got together, that you would reach the heights that you guys have? And you know, what just kind of makes you two work so well together?
Yes, I did. I knew it. I always knew it. Because, you know, there's certain people that you have something with. Me and P, we can have conversations without talking. We understand each other. And it's good because MVP has, like, if we fused together, we would be that perfect person, and we knew it. And it's kind of like, I feel like me and MVP, before we were together, I was a good guy, he was a bad guy. And then let's see what happens if we put them together. Because he's always been that really, really boisterous. He says what's on his mind at all points. And I'm more calm, more reserved most of the time. So it's like, what if we put them together? What did that look like? And we've always been friends. So we've always had something that worked. And I've always wanted to work with him in different senses. Because MVP is great on the mic, you know that. But he has that same fight mentality that I have. So I think it was just a very good synergy. And I knew that it was going to be like that from every time we worked together. I mean, it's always been cool. Everybody's liked it. So I think it's something that works.
To say it has worked is quite the understatement. These are two gentlemen who have absolutely helped carry Monday Night Raw throughout the pandemic. And, you know, you throw Shelton Benjamin in there and Cedric Alexander as well. I still don't know why they split up that group, and neither does Bobby Lashley. But, you know, maybe they'll add. There's a lot of intrigue.
Here's the thing. Lashley's still over. Like, he's still, as much as people get poo-poo on what they think about Monday Night Raw week to week, he's beyond believable as a champion. He's beyond, like, credible with his, first off, the things he did before he got to WWE, in the military as a wrestler. Like, he had that background, and he was always a guy, like, when WWE had him in that first run, people were like, they never got as much out of him. And I really feel I don't want to say delayed gratification, but there certainly is that. This guy went and was successful in MMA. Was he the top of the? No, but you cannot deny he had a lot of great wins. He went in there and really went at with some people. Then went over to Impact and did both at the same time. All right. So you would think that would take more out of him with the balance of the training with that, but maintained it. There was a period where he was fighting and wrestling very regularly and pulling it off.
Yeah.
And comes back to WWE as this huge, bigger than he ever was star. And the alarming thing that snuck up on me, getting jaded, getting lost in wrestling. This really makes me intrigued to see the whole interview. You guys definitely have to go see the whole interview. I want to see people's reaction to this because you got he's the most candid we've ever seen him. He looks the most comfortable in his own skin. This is a guy who always had the physical skills up here. Up here, it clicked at some point. And you have a guy who's 44. He's 44 years old.
Got to be 45 next month.
And I think he can out wrestle a lot of people there now. Like he's in a different era. This is a guy who I think could kick his own ass 10 years ago. And that's crazy to think about.
Yeah. I mean, this is a guy, it's like you get older, right? And you wish that it's like, oh, I wish I had the body I had back then because of what I know now, right? Like I have the smarts now, but I don't have the physical stature of what I had back in my mid-20s. Lashley's got it both. He's got the experience. He's got the knowledge.
If somebody told you he was 25, you would believe them.
I would. Maybe not 25.
And that's shocking.
If you said 30, I would believe you.
Okay.
I believe 30. 25, I don't know. What steroid?
It is. You mentioned the 30 something going on 50. I got some years on you, so I was like, he's 44. the whole time I'm like, he's 44. My body is my knees crack like knuckles now. All right, he's 44. Oh, like I drank a little bit last night and I feel it tonight.
Oh,
come on now.
Dude, if I have 2 beers, I'm down for 2 days. Like seriously, it's bad. It's bad. Like I'm trying to get back in shape. I really am. I've lost a little bit of weight over the last couple of weeks, and I'm trying my best. And I screwed up because I went to a bachelor party and a wedding, so that kind of threw me off. So now,
boy,
I'm trying to. There's only so many. When you go on a 5-day bachelor party, there's only so many days that you can last before you go, all right, I'm going to start drinking too. Let's go.
You go on a 5-day bachelor party, you're signing up for at least 3 different hangovers, like in between everything.
Okay, so I'm not going to name him. All right. Because he get pissed if I put his name out there. But my God, there was one day I woke up in my hotel room to the most violent vomiting I have ever heard in my life from one of my. We had an 8:20 tea time the next morning. I wake up at 5:15 in the morning to the most violent, just like anything. It was. I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude! Like, what the hell? He did not make that 8:20 tea time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but he did make the rest of the trip. Thankfully,
little preview of the next the eventual wrestling summit that we get to have with the Sportskeeda wrestling team is. Someone go in there and check on Kevin. Is he okay? He's dehydrated. He's Pedialyte.
All right. Back to beer pong.
Back to wrestling this week. We saw the return of Eva Marie. This has been anticipated for some time. Eva Marie back in the WWE fold. We knew this was coming for months. A lot of people very angry about it, more so than when she signed. Eva Marie is certainly, I would just describe as a gaslighting character. In her first WWE run, people were fond of her gorgeous looks and her kind of otherworldly beauty that she owns very, very well. She's definitely like very, very strikingly beautiful in that way.
There's no denying it.
Yes. And I think that hates her. She is beautiful in a very idealistic way, which makes people that idealistic want that beauty hate her. So you already have a segment of the audience that hates her. Then you have people that like her because they don't like the people that are hating her. So now they're on board just to see people get mad about her, right? They're there for the haters ball, right? And so then she comes back to WWE looking even better than she did before. They invest a lot of time and energy into these vignettes of kind of making her seem like a social media influencer, which, for lack of a better phrase, she is. That's what she was doing. And she was doing endorsements and doing acting and all these different things. Comes back to WWE. And she never really wrestled a handful of times before, but would always come out like she was going to wrestle. And they get right back to that here. And she's in the ring with Naomi, a beloved veteran of the WWE Women's Evolution.
My God, when they announced that match on Twitter,
Oh,
my
boy.
God, the wrestling universe lost its mind.
And I will say
immediately they thought, oh my God, they're going to feed Naomi to Eva Marie. That was the mindset was, oh my God, there's no way this ends any other way than Eva Marie pinning Naomi. And I'm just sitting here going, I don't buy it.
And also there was a segment of the audience, and Eva Marie's keen to the internet. She was out there. She's tweeting back and forth with our very own Vince Russo and Legion of Raw. If you guys want to check that out, Vince was going back and forth. Vince loves her. And there's a lot of other things on Raw he does not love.
Quote,
quite opposite.
He's the best thing on the show.
Yes.
And that was just when they were running the vignettes.
So she comes out for this match. Built to for weeks. It was the most talked about thing on this go-home show for Hell in a Cell. But out comes from NXT UK, Piper Niven.
I'm sorry, who?
Piper Niven?
Oh, see, I didn't know because the commentary team didn't know who she was. They stripped her of her identity, Kevin. She's no longer Piper Niven. We're supposed to pretend like she doesn't exist.
What do I have in my hand, Rick?
For
the audience listening at home, what do I have in my hand? Got my tweezers. Are you ready to nitpick, Rick? Here we go. It's nitpick, Rick.
This isn't a nitpick.
I know it isn't. It isn't. I just had to give
it isn't at all. This is a big issue for me. I hate when WWE does this. I don't have a problem with the angle so much, right? Because it is a weird kind of decision to after the 5 years away from Eva Marie being for WWE, you bring her back and you put her right back into what she was doing, where you advertise her for a match and then she doesn't wrestle the match. But okay, you do that to put over a new main roster star, somebody who is very, very good, somebody who is very good in Piper Niven, who is well accomplished, is somebody who is one of the biggest stars on one of your own brands.
Yes.
And then you bring her over to Raw and you have the commentary team who know what NXT UK is. You bring over a woman who has a profile on your own damn website. And the commentary team is like, who is this young lady? We've never seen her before, but my God, she's decimating Naomi. And then she wins the matchup very, very easily. Somebody else could have taken that L. It didn't have to be Naomi. But that is nitpicking there.
Well, here's the thing.
And then they announced Eva Marie is the winner.
Eva Marie announces herself as the winner.
That's true.
Also, Eva Marie, talk about the details. You're talking about details, right? They didn't say her name. How about Eva Marie being a personality? Eva Marie is not back in WWE to be a wrestler. She is back in this company to be a provocative personality that gets reactions. I'm telling you right now, when this show goes back on the road, there's going to be a handful of people that get loud, boisterous reactions. And Eva Marie is going to be one of them. All right. Eva Marie is going to come out there with Piper Niven and back her up and manipulate Piper. And you notice she announced herself as a winner, and Piper was just on board because she just wants to be on Raw. And look how cool it is. I'm with this big star who's telling me what to do. And she's going to manipulate her. And the whole time, like, Eva was like, yeah, you're here. You're here. And she did the mean girl thing. And guess what? You care about the story. You care about the characters. You're rooting for Piper right out of the gate to smash this pink-haired harlot, manipulating her, who's cheating her way to the top, who's not actually earning the things, who's just, I'm here because I'm hot. And now they're playing into the things that you say about her on the internet. And guess where you are? Guess where they are, Rick? Right there.
Living rent-free in your head. That's exactly
right there. They're right there in the palm of your hand. So everyone who's mad about this and how can they do this to Naomi, they do it because you care. Guess what? You're more mad about Eva Marie than the person you claim to love. You're more mad about it, all right? You're more mad about what? How could they do this to her? And no, wait. All right, well, it's cool what they did for Piper. You hear people saying, well, I wanted you. How many tweets did you see like this? I wanted to crap on it. I wanted to, but I wanted to. I was tuning into Raw to say something mad about it. I wasn't watching. I was following on Twitter. I just watched on YouTube. Then you watched. All right. So guess what, dude? Get over yourself. You got worked, guys. You got worked 2021 style. You're tweeting about it. You're marketing for him.
I have no problem with the angle. Like, I don't. If Eva's not there to be a wrestler, okay, that's fine. This is a great role for her because, yes, she's going to generate a ton of heat. And that's important because if you don't have heat, you don't have a babyface. You don't have money. You need people who can get that nuclear heat, and she is one of them. Go back and watch any of her matches with Bayley in NXT. You will see exactly what I'm talking about.
Bayley said on the record with you. We are on the show.
Said the most fun she's ever had in a match was not against Sasha Banks. It was against Eva Marie because Bayley didn't have to do shit. All she had to do was stand there and people were going nuts for Bayley to kick the ever-loving shit out of Eva Marie.
We're swearing a lot today.
I know we are. I'm fighting. I've been gone for 2 weeks, man. I'm ready to go. Ready to go. But yeah, no, the fans love to hate Eva Marie. That's why she's back in the company. I was in that camp that wanted to see her in the ring, though, because she is a world-class athlete. I do hope she actually wrestles because I want to see what she can do. I don't know if she can wrestle or not, Kevin, because I haven't seen her wrestle in 6 years. So I want to see what she can do. There's a lot. If I can learn how to wrestle in a year, and I'm not saying I'm great, but I got the basics down pretty good. If I can learn how to do it,
yeah,
I know Eva Marie can because she's a world-class athlete and I'm not.
Rick, the investment is in doing that as light as possible. All right. And the investment is she's going to get put through a table by someone that she does wrong and disrespects.
Maybe
and then the crowd is going to roar and oh my, wow, I'm on board. And you know who's not going to be there? Tony Khan's boy 69 isn't going to be there bitching about it. He isn't going to say a single thing. He isn't going to hashtag anything. All right. You know who's not going to be there? TJ from New Jersey, 406 or something, isn't going to be there. You know who's not going to be there? Naomi Stan 145 isn't going to say anything. They're going to cheer.
Sure. And that's why I said I didn't have a problem with the angle. What I have a problem with is them stripping Piper Niven of her identity for no reason. It's the same.
Correct it.
It's the same thing they did with Dabba-Kato. We knew who Dabba-Kato was, and all of a sudden now he's General Aziz. No big deal. They did the same thing with Retribution. We know who these people are. We could see through the mask. We knew that was Dominic Dijakovic.
Just say they were formerly known as this.
Yes,
that's all you have to do.
They can go by a different name. That's fine.
Hey, fans, if you don't know, that's Piper Niven from NXT UK. You can see it on Peacock. What is she doing here?
That's it. She doesn't need a new persona. It's pointless what they're doing, and it sucks, especially if they go with the reported name that they're going to give her.
Dewdrop?
Yeah, Dewdrop. Fightful selects that that's the name that was one of the names under consideration is Dewdrop.
Just go with Piper.
Jesus Christ. Like that is worse than the stuff that they gave Retribution. But I mean, they've been doing this for years too. Remember when they brought back A-Train and they made him Lord Tensai? And they tried to make you think like
they tried. The thing is, they tried something. They tried something different and fresh.
Yeah, and he beat John Cena clean as a whistle, and then 2 weeks later was jobbing out to people.
Which crazy.
Well, this isn't working. Yeah, because you took Prince Albert, aka A-Train, aka whatever the hell else his name was. He went through like nine different name changes back in the day. TNA, remember him and Test and Trish Stratus? That's when she first came into the fold. Like he has a ton of different names, but he was always the same guy. Then you bring him back, like a 10-year veteran to the company, and you're like, oh no, this is Lord Tensai now. Completely different dude. It didn't work. And I don't think it's going to work with Piper Niven either. She may not be known to the
You don't think it's going to work with her, or the new name isn't going to work?
I don't think so. No, I don't. I don't think if it's as bad as Dewdrop, I feel bad for her. I hope whatever name they give her, whatever persona they give her, doesn't suck. Actually, I hope.
Do you know who should be worried about Piper Niven being in WWE in the main roster?
Who?
Nia Jax.
I don't know what. You know what? No, I think Nia Jax should be excited because she finally has somebody she can stand toe to toe with.
Good point. Good point. And but I also think Piper is a very unique wrestler. She works a different style, looks like unlike anyone else. Also is a vet. She knows how to find the camera. She was somebody, she like the way she positioned that Taka Michinoku driver to really, she got that right on camera and knew right where to position it, right, and knew right where to find the camera right after the match to pose with Eva Marie, and then hold on it, like hold on the things that she was supposed to sell with her character. I thought she fit in perfectly, and that's part of being in the WWE system for a long time. You know, good on her. There is some positive in that.
By the way, you know what else they just set up for? We now have another tag team.
Yeah,
you could have Piper Niven and Eva Marie win the tag team titles if you really want.
And then Eva Marie never does anything, gets the win.
Oh my God! Imagine the nuclear heat, right?
Yes, this is what I'm talking about.
Imagine nuclear heat when it's whoever has the tag team titles. Let's say it's Mandy and Dana at that point. Imagine when Piper squashes them both, stacks them up, walks over to the corner, tags in Eva Marie. Eva Marie comes in and pins them.
And the winner is the new WWE Women's Tag Team Champion is Eva Marie. She never says Piper's name, and Piper does all the work. Yes. And the thing is, people will crap on it. But the thing is, what they're actually doing is giving it heat. But then they say this is so disrespectful what they're doing to Piper.
But at the same time, you need a counter. You need a babyface tag team to come in and kick the shit out of them. And you don't have that right now.
And what
have it right now.
You could have had it if you kept Lana and Naomi together.
You could have had it if you kept the Riot Squad together, for crying out.
Dude, good point. Maybe that changes everything. I wanted to get into this Reginald story. We can briefly touch on this before we talk about SummerSlam. Word is that WWE chairman, head honcho, Vince McMahon, is very fond of the biggest supporting character in all of wrestling right now, a former Circus Soleil performer who has become a very big part of the major brands of WWE on Raw and SmackDown. It's got a lot of screen time.
Oh, he's the face of the women's division right now.
And that is Reginald. Reginald introduces a small EA for Sasha Banks. He's supposed to be this minor character.
Carmella first, and then went to Sasha.
Yeah, he was with Carmella, and then went to Sasha Banks. And I don't want to say the guy's a hit, but people care about him. People get mad.
Do they?
Right?
I mean, yeah, in a sense that he generates heat, but I don't know. I don't know if that's the right heat. He's just annoying. And this was a Fightful Select report. Sean Ross Sapp over this one. And the second I read it, I'm like, of course Vince loves him, because he's front and center. He gets 2 or 3 segments a night. He was the central figure in the Sasha Banks Bianca Belair WrestleMania build. It was more about him than them. So of course, when I see that report, I just go, yeah, I buy that. I buy it because no one else does. And sometimes with Vince, it's more about what pops him than what pops the audience, and I do believe that to be the case in this.
I think there's some truth to that, and the idea is it's his show, and he wants to, it's not like, it's also, I would say it's not like he's the number one character on all of the show. I would say he's definitely one of the more prominent supporting characters. He's up there like an MVP, like where he adds a lot to the match.
When I get most excited about Reginald?
When's that?
When he's not on TV.
Oh, come on.
I got so excited when I thought it was just going to be Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax this week. And then as soon as Alexa's about to win the match, for whatever reason, here comes Reggie, and I'm going to pick up Alexa, and it's going to be a EQ because God forbid we actually have Alexa, win a match ahead of a pay-per-view fight, which we should be getting into, by the way.
We got a great match with Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks at WrestleMania. All right. Maybe the best women's match of the year for WWE so far. And that match went off without a hitch. So you forgot that part. When the match happened, the match was great.
Dude, that's been WWE's MO all year long. The build sucks, but the destination's awesome.
And let's get to the destination. Some people said the destination for this Sunday's Hell in a Cell is distracted by the deep anticipation for WWE to return in front of live fans. Money in the Bank is probably more anticipated than it's been in many, many years, as it'll be the first real pay-per-view in front of live fans. WWE returning to live fans in Houston on July 16th. SummerSlam. We're already looking deep ahead. We're 5 weeks ahead here. But Hell in a Cell is this Sunday. WWE does a crafty move here. A few weeks ago, when they get this tour lined up, they say, let's not put that Hell in a Cell in front of live fans. let's do it as the last real special thing we do in the Thunderdome. And that's what we're going to get here. I'm okay with this. I actually enjoyed the Thunderdome show last year. I thought it was one of the best WWE shows of 2020, was the Hell in a Cell Thunderdome from October. But this circumstantial thing, under these circumstances, I'm okay with WWE moving this show into this position, trying not to make it seem like, oh, we're just done with the whole Thunderdome thing. We're in a rotating, pattern until we get to in front of live fans. Some people can say that if you want to, but
I think there's some validity there. I think there's some validity.
It's on the surface. It's on the surface, and it's natural. It's natural. I feel it a little bit with AEW too, as well. Ever since we got out of Double or Nothing, I've felt like they're waiting for some things until they can be in front of live fans.
Yeah, they're also waiting until the NBA playoffs are over so they can be back in their time slot.
Oh boy, boy, those numbers. So WWE though, in this different position, I think this is a better idea. I love the way they shot the Hell in a Cell matches in the Thunderdome because they could shoot it from any angle they want. They could go above it. They could go inside of it. It didn't have this sense of like a crowd with a delayed reaction. The red cell actually looked good in the Thunderdome that it did in front of a live audience. And we have a pretty busy card here on paper. This is a very, very strong card.
It's strong. It's not long. We got 5 matches. Maybe they'll add some more. I think there were plans to have a United States title match on the card, but Sheamus has got a broken nose right now, and I don't believe has been clear for action. So maybe they throw something there, but I would be stunned if they don't at least add an Intercontinental Champion.
Someone snuck into the Thunderdome and stole some of his stuff. Did you hear about that?
He stole his cross.
It's crazy. And he's promising ringside tickets to anyone who can get it back to him. So the pursuit of a cross will get you ringside tickets. So Hell in a Cell, let's run the card down. Roman Reigns has disrespected his own family, and now the Mysterio family. We're doing Roman Reigns versus Rey Mysterio. Is this a title match? Has they designated this as a universal title match? They have? Okay. That part kind of snuck up on me because it's all of the family drama because you have the Usos, Roman's cousins, and Jimmy coming back to the fold. They try to win the tag team titles off of Rey Mysterio and his son Dominic. I actually think this is quietly a very, very strong story. I think there's more meat on the bone past Hell in a Cell, even though Hell in a Cell should kind of end it. I think this is going to be Roman Reigns becoming even more evil. Even more evil. You talk about him turning babyface or John Cena. Yeah, no, he's going to be evil because
only name.
Mysterio is a beloved guy. His son is going to be there. Are they going to do anything to his son? I've heard some people say he's going to throw Dominic off the top of the cell. What do you think?
Oh my dude, that's probably the only thing worse that he could have done on SmackDown. Like he chucked him out of the ring like Jazz on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, getting chucked out by Uncle Phil.
They powerbombed him out of the ring, and you didn't see him land. Maybe they did the whole crash pad thing, but it did look cool. It did look very, very cool.
They had to have used the crash pad because
sure, I don't want him not using the crash pad.
His soul would have left his body had he landed after that throw. It was vicious. It was
but I do think that's a tease to them doing something crazy in Hell in a Cell. Hell in a Cell, you have to do all this crazy, physical, dangerous stuff.
Here you go, kid.
Want to get famous? Here you go. Here, get up there. Take a 25-foot drop. Oh man. And the thing is, the Thunderdome, you can do all that stuff. You can do those things and do all it, and there's nothing to stop them from pre-taping this match. Nothing to stop them from pre-taping it. Nope. And you getting the match as it's seen,
and I think this is going to be very similar to Rey Mysterio versus Brock Lesnar. I think it's going to be they're going to give you a couple of good hope spots there at the end. Think, oh my gosh, Rey Mysterio is going to shock the world. He's going to pull this one off. And then Roman Reigns is going to beat the hell out of everybody, and he's going to retain.
But then it's brilliant if they get you to believe that Mysterio can hang with him and get close, as they've been able to do before.
I genuinely thought when Brock was down and it was Dominic and Rey going, I genuinely thought Rey was going to pull it off. They got me on that one. It'll be interesting to see if they can get me on this one, but I don't believe for a second.
And then you have the Usos. So this isn't so much Reigns versus Mysterio. This is going to be the bloodline versus the Mysterios to some degree.
I don't think the cell is keeping anybody out.
No, no. It's bringing people up, maybe bringing some people down. Before we get to the other Hell in a Cell match, Bianca Belair versus Bayley for the SmackDown Women's Championship. You're covering Smack Talk every week, Dutch Mantel. What has been Dutch's take on this, and what has been your take on the build to this? Some up, some down. Some shenanigans with the Thunderdome screen they've been playing around with. Yeah, Bayley laughing at Bianca.
The laughing is getting really close to jumping the shark. It's something that is great in small doses. But now they're starting to lean on it a little too much. It's like Seth Rollins with the leaning on the swing, like when he was talking, with Cesaro in that build up to WrestleMania. So the laughing has been weird. I'm not sure about Dutch's take because I've missed the last two Smack Talk because of the bachelor party and the wedding that I was at this last week. But look, this match is going to be good. I would not be surprised if this does not end clean. I think at some point Sasha Banks is going to get involved in this. We still have not seen her since the SmackDown after WrestleMania, and
this is how they reintroduce her, huh?
Yeah, I think she's going to get involved in this. I still think the match at SummerSlam is Bayley, Sasha Banks, and Bianca Belair for the SmackDown Women's Championship. I still think that's the direction they're going, but I think whether there's an actual finish or not, I think Bianca is walking away with the title on Sunday.
So we have 5 announcements. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 matches announced for the show. Half of them are women's matches. Half of the announced matches in the show are women's matches.
I thought we only had 5. What am I missing?
We have Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte for the Raw Women's Championship.
Right. Yeah.
And we have Alexa Bliss versus Shayna Baszler in a rare Alexa Bliss match on paper.
Right. And then it's Lashley and Drew. That's 5.
Lashley and Drew. No, you're right. Lashley and Drew. We have them here as well.
Yeah. So we actually have more women's matches than men's matches right now.
Which is surprising.
And I'm all for it.
I'm all for it. I think it'll be interesting what the internet says about this on Sunday. I'm interested to see how Rhea and Charlotte can turn this thing around. I think they've had kind of an up and down build. They had a great match at last year's WrestleMania. Rhea Ripley is the Raw Women's Champion, but there's just so much 50-50 booking, it feels like, on Monday Night Raw. And then you have Nikki Cross kind of playing the spoiler, who's been able to upset them, even though she's also a veteran, and they have her winning the Beat the Clock challenge over Rhea and Charlotte, and she's just kind of this foil in between them, yet isn't in this match. Yeah. I do think that is a missing element. I think Nikki Cross, if she beat both these women in matches, even if it wasn't, a pinfall, she beat them. She beat Charlotte by a count out this week.
She technically beat them.
But that's a win. A win's a win.
This is the weirdest build I've ever seen in my life for somebody. She seems just so happy to be there. And that's a shame for her, because just last year she was going toe-to-toe with Bayley for the SmackDown Women's Championship. I would rather see them treat her like a legit competitor, because she is a legit competitor. But if they're building her up, I would love to see her pull off a shock win down the line. I think Rhea retains here, but this feud is going to continue. I truly believe that this feud is going to continue.
Rhea and Charlotte?
Yeah, Rhea and Charlotte, and then Nikki's going to get worked into the fold. I would love to see maybe a match on Raw where Nikki pulls off kind of like that shock win, where she.
I'm gonna put this out here. My dark horse to win the Money in the Bank this year is Nikki Cross.
I'm hoping somebody new wins. I want to see Nikki. If it's Nikki Cross, if it's Liv.
See, we're already doing it. We're already looking past Hell in a Cell.
I know. But if it's Liv Morgan, if it's Nikki Cross, if it's Sonya Deville,
make somebody.
Make somebody. Sign me the hell. That's what those kind of events should be for, is making somebody. And if they're not making somebody, remaking somebody.
But I also think it's an issue with Rhea Ripley, as she cooled off that much since WrestleMania. She had such a great match with Asuka. I do think this is another idea of people say, I don't want another draft. I don't want another draft. They do need some fresh women's combinations on Monday Night Raw. They really need
Piper Niven coming in is great, because it's another face on Monday Night Raw.
And it was needed. They needed a fresh.
Very, very much needed. Of course.
The thing is, I think Charlotte and Rhea are going to have a great match. They always do.
They will.
But I think people are less invested in these characters than they were like a month or two ago.
I think a lot of that has to do with the build to this match, which until very, very recently, like the brawl that they had at the end where Charlotte was going crazy on Monday night and she got her nose bloodied up.
That was cool.
That was great.
Yeah.
More of that, please.
But let's bring home heat. Do that the week of the pay-per-view. So
they
did it at the right time.
No. That was the best part of the build to WrestleMania 35, is when Charlotte, Becky, and Ronda were just so sick of each other that they were beating the piss out of each other.
When they got arrested and stuff like that. I love that angle. That was so awesome. That was one of the best. That was one of the best things they've done on it was Raw, right? They did. I think they did that on Raw. Yeah, that was one of the best things they've done.
When they got to that point in the feud where they were just so sick of each other and they were just beating the crap out of each other, that was the best stuff. That was the best stuff.
Alexa Bliss is spooky. She's taking on Shayna Baszler, one of the more maligned segments on my Raw in a few months. Alexa Bliss has been able to be spooky, have all the pyrotechnics, have Lily, do all the fun things, become the new female fiend, if you will. She has her following online. She wrestles very rarely. She had a series of concussions that were kind of scary, but WWE certainly still kept her a very, very prominent part of Monday Night Raw and WWE television and SmackDown, and she certainly evolved and also eats up the minutes she's on TV. Do not take that for granted. Alexa Bliss eats it up, but she's in there with a real killer in the ring in Shayna Baszler. This is more shenanigans. This is more of an angle than it is a match, don't you think?
It is. I'm interested to see how much of the supernatural they're bringing into this, because as we get ready to go back to the road, I think we're starting to see signs that they're gonna come back to reality a little bit more, which is why
meat and potatoes. Give me babyface, give me a heel, cut a promo, get in the ring, ring the bell.
And I think Alexa can still play the spooky supernatural character, but bring it.
But I also think fans are going to expect some of that supernatural stuff coming back live.
And that's fine, and you can do that. You don't have to dive as deep as you did with the Fiend and getting into the possessed doll. I didn't have a problem with Lily. I could take or leave Lily. I'm fine with that. I'm a big horror movie genre type guy. So if you're gonna mix some of that in,
favorite horror movie?
Oh, Scream,
the first one.
I
do weekdays on 104.9 The Axe in Rockford, and I'll do the noon hour. The noon hour is all 90s. So this week I did. I'll play clips and different things from movies, and I was like, I gotta get Scream in. If I have a song from '96, I'll play Scream. And I did the infamous scene where Jamie Kennedy lays out the rules, right? He lays out the rules. And then I worked myself into the other role of the guy who breaks up the rules. And he says, never say you're going to be right back, because you never get to come right back. And I said, hey, man, you want a beer? And I edited myself in doing the dialogue. So it was fun when I did that on there. Scream, great movie. If you haven't seen it, if you're a millennial, that's a really, really fun movie.
They got a 5th one coming out soon, too, by the way.
Oh boy. What streaming service is getting that? So let's get to the main event here.
Well, hold on. Who wins the Alexa Shayna Bliss match?
I think it ends in a no contest, and this is just more of an angle. They're going to do something that's going to get people talking, and it's going to be
I'll say this much:
a lot of shenanigans.
If Reggie gets involved, they're not going to have Lily set off the pyro, because I'm going to light something on fire. I think Alexa Bliss wins this one, and she should win this one. By the way, people want to complain about this angle. This is like really the first like female rivalry we've had that hasn't surrounded a title in a while. I can't remember another one. So I'm all for this.
Don't tell the internet they can't hate on something before it happens. So let's get to this. Drew McIntyre's final opportunity at WWE Champion Bobby Lashley. We spoke to him earlier in the show. Once again, if you want to get that full interview, it is available on the Sportskeeda's wrestling channel, on YouTube, on Facebook, and our podcast channel as well. Go subscribe wherever that works for you. And let's get into this. Lashley, very over as a champ. You got the Lashley ladies out there, but you got Drew McIntyre signing a contract for a match and then smashing a table with a sword. This is something that can only happen in wrestling. I love this. We had Drew McIntyre talk to our very own Raju as well recently. I think this is really, really cool. I love the idea of this. He is teased using a sword in the Hell in a Cell match.
Why not? Do it. I dare you.
Is MVP getting stabbed in the butt with a sword here? Where can you take it? What's a working sword?
He would be the one that would be stabbed, and then they'd have to replace the cane with a wheelchair. He could come out like a
him and Miz are on wheelchair races backstage.
Exactly. The segments write themselves. They have to. He could come out in a Pimp My Ride wheelchair.
He gets a card. Oh no, Miz has to stay in a wheelchair. I get the scooter.
Right, exactly. He'd have like
MVP politicking backstage. You could
wheeling and dealing like he always does.
This is Drew and Lashley. I think they had a really underrated match at WrestleMania.
They had
a really, really underrated match. And as much as people have kind of, I don't want to say cooled off on Drew, Drew's aware of it. When you and I were talking to him on our first episode of InSide Kradle, he was kind of like, I don't want to be a guy who burns out my standing in the company. I always want to be doing something exciting. There is a sense of let's close the chapter on this. But does that make it feel like Lashley's leaving this chamber with the belt? How do you make this interesting? How do you really drive home this is Drew's last opportunity? How do you do something fresh with Drew coming out of this? Does he win the title? Is it just a foregone conclusion that Lashley leaves that cage with the title?
I think it is. I think they know that Drew has been in the main event scene and fighting for the WWE Championship for a year plus now, and it's time to go in a bit of a different direction. And I think that's why you're starting to see MVP tease things up with Kofi Kingston. I think they're setting up Kofi to be next for Bobby Lashley. Whether that's a SummerSlam match or not, I'm not sure. We still have a little bit of time here, but I think I would not be surprised if Drew's next opponent isn't known by the end of the night on Sunday. Drew set up Hell in a Cell to keep out any outside interference, which means we're going to get outside interference. So whether
based on modern WWE logic,
right? So whether that's a returning Jinder Mahal or Brock Lesnar seeking revenge, I don't know. I think Jinder Mahal makes a lot of sense. They brought him back. He hasn't been on TV for 4 weeks since they brought him back, which is really, really
the thing
weird.
is, that's just people saying it. I don't think that's been teased. That's just people saying, I want a Mahal Drew McIntyre match.
Well, but McIntyre's insinuated that that's coming down the line.
Okay.
He has said in interviews before that is a program that is
and that's one of his boys. It's one of his boys. He would want to.
There, we could get 3 MB vignettes and dive back into the leather pants and the air guitar angles and everything like that. And by the way, Jinder Mahal in a WWE interview said that he taught Drew McIntyre everything he needed to know to win the WWE Championship. So you can't tell me there's not a storyline there. You can't tell me they're not throwing nuggets out there. You just got to find them. It's like an Easter egg hunt. I still think that might be the angle, but however it goes, this match is going to bang. It's going to be hard hitting. These guys are going to kick the ever-loving you-know-what out of each other, but Lashley's walking away with the WWE Championship.
I think this will be similar to the match that we got to see Drew have with Sheamus at Fastlane, where it was a big throwdown match where you got a lot more than you were expecting while Drew was on a set path to get to WrestleMania. And you got so much more out of them. I mean, they beat the crap out of each other. They wrecked the Thunderdome. They did a bunch of different things. Drew did the same thing with Randy Orton when he went back in the Hell in a Cell, and I believe Orton won that title. He won that match, if I'm correct. And
Hell in a Cell, he did, yeah,
and that was a great match. You know, like this. Don't sleep on this. You sleep on these guys, and we get to the pay-per-view, and then they deliver something, and you leave the show saying, "Wow, it was great." We have backlash. I know I went off on everybody about the zombies thing, but Cesaro had the match of his life. You know, we just got to talk to him today, earlier this week. That's on our channel as well. And he talked about what's going on with them. I could see Rollins and Cesaro having some presence on this card. They haven't been announced officially for a match.
Yeah, they got to be added, I would think. They got to be added. I wouldn't be surprised if an Intercontinental Championship match.
We're taping this on Thursday, so you guys could maybe know that by now. By the time you guys
absolutely. Heck, knowing our luck, we'll hit stop here in a couple of minutes.
And The Rock has bought the WWE,
or somebody will get released. But that happened to us like 3 weeks ago. Like the Velveteen Dream thing broke like 3 minutes after we hit stop. What happens when you record a show, baby? You take risks.
We've talked nearly 90 minutes. We told ourselves let's shoot for 45, so we've done nearly double that. And I do want to say this though, Rick. I have so much fun doing this. If you guys have listened or watched this whole thing, I hope you had fun. I really, really hope you had fun and you enjoyed it. And we're a good companion to you in your day. You're working out. Maybe you're actually trying to do what Bobby Lashley says you got to do. All right. I appreciate it. Give it a like, share it, pass along to your wrestling buddies. We want to do more interactive things with you guys on the show as well, even though we're doing all these different things. You can check me out on Sportskeeda's channel Monday through Friday, doing the top story of the day right around 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern. That is live and interactive as we do it. I'm also on air, as I mentioned, with 104.9 The X in Rockford and 97.7 Real Rock QLZ in Springfield, Illinois. I'm going to be doing live comedy. Live comedy's back, baby.
What?
Oh, man. My calendar is filling up. My calendar is full. I'm playing 3 different comedy clubs in and around Chicago at the end of the month. I'm really, really excited. So you can check out all my dates at Kev Kellam on Twitter. I'll have it all up there. What do you got going on, Rick?
Well, a lot right now. Obviously, my interview with Bobby Lashley is up right now. I got some other irons in the fire. Of course, Friday night I'll be on with Dutch Mantel and SP3. The band is back together again after I took a couple of weeks off, and I know he was kind of ticked off at me for that. But please also,
he's gonna give it to you.
Oh,
Dutch is gonna lay in.
Oh yeah, he absolutely was. And Kevin's kind of scrolling through. He's blocking my Twitter feed.
I'm sorry, buddy.
There we go. At Rick Ucchino. Please follow me on Twitter. I'm closing in on my yearly goal. It's June, and I'm closing in on my yearly goal. I'm almost at 2,000 followers. Please. Please help me out.
You gotta catch up, Rick. You gotta catch up.
I'm trying to catch up to a lot of people. Trust me. But, there are reasons to follow me. I think I'm funny. You get all the firsthand like clips, before my interviews drop.
You do
a lot of interviews. There are reasons to follow me. I'm not like begging, but I'm begging. And also Twitter. You will acknowledge me at some point. You will acknowledge your boy, and you will verify me. I am making sure that is happening. I got 8 more days until I can apply again, and you will not deny me this time.
You'll get your blue check mark.
I'm getting it. It's happening. They denied me. They didn't tell me why, and then they put me on a 30-day hiatus. I'm making my move.
I'm wearing mine, so I got. Maybe I'll talk.
You got everything. I know, Kevin. You got everything. You got it all.
I love how much it drives you crazy.
Honestly, so damn much, but it does. I've just been in a pissy mood ever since I got an email from Twitter that said, "No, we're not going to verify you." I'm like, mother.
Thank you guys so much. If you haven't done already, subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's a real effort we're putting into it. We have a goal that we're shooting for. We're doing very, very well. More than nearly 1,000 new subscribers in the last month, which is absolutely fantastic. Thank you guys so much for watching the show. Hope you enjoyed it. And remember, when watching wrestling, please do the most important thing, which is enjoy wrestling.